going to do that today. I'm going to ask everyone to make sure that you stay muted, and you'll have an opportunity where you can unmute afterwards and give some feedback to Matt, talk to him about what he did well, where there's some room for improvement, if any. But definitely, please, as you guys can only imagine, being in front of your peers, it's enough pressure already. So we don't want to add to that by having interruptions and people being unmuted. So respect Matt and V as they go through this presentation. So V, if you can turn your camera on, I want to make sure that I spotlight you and Matt. And here's the thing that I'm expecting today, and I hope that you guys already prepare for this. Of course, V, give them some pushback. Give them the pushback you get from sellers. A couple of objections around pricing, maybe around commission, and definitely, he's got to fight for the close. So at least we want to give Matt at least 2 or 3 objections to close to make sure that he really wants it. We want to see how hungry he is. The caveat to this is that I'm only going to give 45 minutes for Matt to go through the entire presentation. I feel confident that he can knock that out within 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, the timer will stop. We'll have an opportunity at that point in time to you'll be the first person, to give Matt feedback and tell him, what you thought about the conversation and how he showed up as an agent, and give him some feedback. And then after that, anyone else that has feedback, I'll give you an opportunity to unmute and give your feedback. All I'm asking, so that we can be respectful of time, is that if you've already heard someone give the feedback that you planned on giving, just skip it, right? We don't need to hear the same thing twice, so we can just be respectful of time and let more people go. With that being said, Matt, any questions for me? I see you are. What I love about Matt, like, we're on Zoom, he's treating this as real play. Look at how my man is dressed. Like, he's taking this serious, and this is what I love about Matt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight V. I'm going to spotlight Matt, and oh, I got Ira here too. So Ira, I'm gonna make you my co-host. I feel special. Ira's here on the Friday. Thanks for being here, man. And that way I can try to figure out what's going on with Facebook. And Ira can let people in, so I can put it on Facebook Live. Pete, are you ready? Pete, sorry, Matt, are you ready? Pete's like, what? Why are you calling me? Pete, I'm not gonna have you do the listing presentation. Matt, you ready?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you. So I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you really quickly. And I'm going to spotlight V. Here we go. And you got this, man. Just appreciate you doing this.
It's another day, man. It's a wrap.
Hey, that's exactly right. So all I'm going to do is say, let's go. And I'm going to start the timer the minute you guys start speaking, and we'll go from there. And again, Matt, go knock it out the park. All right. V is on you. You guys go ahead and go.
Hi, V. It's Matt Saporito with Full Financial Group at Keller Williams. It's 8:30, and I'm here for our appointment. Is it okay if I come in?
Sure. Hey, Matt.
Hi, V. Thanks so much again for having me over, and I'm super excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold. Do you mind if I take a look around your home?
Yeah, sure. Let me show you around. We did some updates to the home I want to point out to you.
Wonderful. And I appreciate that so much. If you don't mind, what I'd like to do is I do have some information for you that I wanted to go over, as well as some seller's disclosures and some additional stuff that I wanted you to get a jump start on. It takes me about 5 to 7.5 minutes to look through your home as if I'm the buyer. So this way I can get a real good sense. Afterwards, if everything makes sense, at the end of our meeting today, you can go around and you can show me and tell me all the intimate details of what you did with the home. Does that sound like a plan?
Oh, well, I really wanted to show you around, but sure.
Okay. Well, listen, if you really want to show me around, I have no problem with you accompanying me. I'm gonna be very quiet and kind of in my thoughts and just looking around as if I were purchasing the property, so I can get a real good taste as to the vibe, feel, and flow of your property. Would you like to accompany me?
No, I'll go ahead and fill out those paperwork you said you had.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. So I took the tour of the property, and V, I just wanted to let you know, first of all, I understand the sentimental attachment that is to this property for you based off our last phone call. And I just want to let you know that I'm honored that you afforded me the opportunity to come over here today and show you how I could potentially honor your late husband and honor your family's memory by helping you move on to your next chapter. So thank you for that. So I have 3 questions for you. 1, do you need to sell your home?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you going to price your home on the market to sell, or are you looking to keep it on the market for a long period of time?
Well, I don't want to keep it on the market for a long time, but I also don't want to like give the house away.
Sure, that makes complete sense. So we'll just jump right to the chase. Do you want me to handle that sale for you?
Well, I don't know. I met with two other agents yesterday, and definitely I will make my decision of who I choose today.
Okay, wonderful. That being said, I have three objectives for our time together today. First, I want to go over what we talked about and your motivation to sell the home and figure out what our price is going to be. Then I'm going to answer any and all questions that you potentially have. And then today we're going to decide if you choose to list with me or I choose to take your listing. Either one is okay.
What do you mean if you choose to take my listing? You don't want to sell my home?
I appreciate that, and I get that quite often. What I mean by that is in our relationship together, it's a collaboration, and so there's give and take. And sometimes a seller wants me to overprice a property or do some marketing that doesn't work. In those particular instances, I choose not to take a listing.
No, okay, I guess.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's take a minute and review some of the questions that I had gone over with you on the phone. Okay. So you said you were going to move to, where was that again?
Oh, I'm going down to Florida.
Right. And you needed to be there by,
I don't have a time frame. Ideally, my kids would want me to be there sooner than later, but anytime before the summer would be nice, but yeah.
sure. And the particular reason for the move now is,
Well, as I mentioned over the phone, my husband recently passed away, and the kids are down in Florida with the grandkids, so they would like for me to be there closer to them.
mhm, mhm. So I'm curious. I had a question I wanted to ask you since our last conversation on the phone. If the timeline is flexible and, um, obviously you have some sentimental attachment to the home, why try to sell on your own?
Again, a lot of the agents that called me said they could give me more money for my house, but the math does not make sense. If I'm paying you, how am I going to make more money? And I've been trying to do it for what, 3 months now, and my kids are just saying, "Hey, just hire a realtor and get it done." So that's why I'm meeting with realtors.
So now we're doing the interview process, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'm honored. So here's what we're going to go through tonight. Tonight, we're going to look at your motivation to sell the home and and if in fact it does make sense for you to sell the home with a realtor tonight. And number two, we're going to figure out what price that could potentially be at. Okay.
Okay.
So first part of this is I've prepared what I call a comparative market analysis, or a CMA. Have you seen one of these before?
Yeah, the other agents had something. I think that's what they called it.
Sorry to interrupt real quick, Matt. Can you turn your mic up a little bit? People are having a hard time hearing you. So if you can elevate your mic. Sorry to mess up your flow there.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Is this better?
Yeah.
Thumbs up from people or no? Or you need me to turn it up more? I can't see the chat.
I think that was better, just lifting it closer to your mouth.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. So in this comparative market analysis, we've got two parts to this. Did the other agents go through this with you?
No, go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So there's two parts to this research when I do a comparative market analysis. Okay, we're going to take a look at other homes that are on the market, right? Part one of that is this wonderful little place called the Land of Rainbows and Sunshines, right? And so if you want to hang out in the Land of Rainbows and Sunshines, that's where homeowners like to go, and they say, "Hey, we're going to sell our home here, and it's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get it done like that." Okay.
Okay.
Now, part two of that research is a space that I like to call reality. Reality, that's where real estate agents like myself list and sell homes at a premium. So we're going to have to do, you and I, we're going to decide together where we're going to spend most of our time. Okay. So the purpose of a comparative market analysis is to determine the value of your home from the perspective of the buyer. Do you know how buyers determine that value for homes?
Um, I would say by comparison.
Yes, exactly. You're right on par. So buyers are going to determine value by comparison shopping. Okay. Are you familiar with how comparison shopping works?
Well, I remember a few years ago when me and my husband were buying our car, we went to a few different dealerships and like saw who had the best deal and negotiated the best deal.
Right. Okay, perfect. So I'll use cars for an example, since you had a car for an example. If you and I go to a car dealership and we see a beautiful vehicle for $50,000, and then go to another car dealership and we see the same beautiful vehicle at the same price, but this one's got Apple CarPlay, some fancy rims, and a couple of other special amenities. Which one would you believe to be more valuable?
Well, the one with extra stuff for the same amount.
Now, and what makes you say that?
Oh, I'm paying the same amount, but I'm getting more.
Isn't that always great? Everyone likes paying for the same amount and getting more. Now, let me throw you for a spin here a little bit. If I take you back to the first car dealership, and then I tell you, hey, that same beautiful vehicle, now it's only $40,000, but it still doesn't have the Apple CarPlay and other fancy stuff. Which one's more valuable now?
Well, I wasn't looking for the fancy stuff to begin with, so I guess the one that's more money. I mean, less money.
Exactly, right? So now you can see if we want to increase value in something, we have to do two things, one or the other too. We're either going to lower the price of something, or we're going to have more features and benefits for the same price. Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. So unless you're planning to add any more features, benefits, or amenities to your home, and are you?
No.
Right. Price is the only issue. Is it okay if I show you what I mean by that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wonderful. So I've prepared a few homes for you. Reaching for a mouse that's not there. This home is just like yours. David, do I have the power to screen share?
Yes, you do. Let me just double check. Yeah, you do.
Wonderful.
And while you're doing that, if there's anything else you can do to boost your volume, some people are saying they still have a hard time hearing you. You're loud on my end, but some people are saying that. Just
Okay.
FYI.
Yep, no problem. Stand by.
Same.
Sorry about that. Oh my God.
I wouldn't waste much time with it. Most people are saying they can hear you fine. So
Okay. No
let's
problem.
just carry on.
Okay. So as you can see here, this home in particular is just like yours. Okay. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. Okay. How many square feet is it?
You're not showing your screen if you meant to do that.
I'm not sharing my screen. I was trying to find the CMA I sent over to you.
If you search over my name in your email, it should pop up.
Perfect. Thank you, V. So you're the best. Excellent. So I appreciate your patience. Technology. So as you can see here, this is your subject property. Okay. This is 22 Indian Spring Drive. This is where your home is. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down here to 323 Pinnacle. Okay. How many bedrooms are there?
4 bedrooms.
I'm sorry?
4.
4 bedrooms. Right. And how many bathrooms? How many full bathrooms are there?
3 full bathrooms.
Right. And how many half bathrooms?
1/2 bath.
Right. So what you'll see is that this property is a little bit nicer than yours, right? Our square footage, which we don't typically have, but you can tell from looking through the photographs here, a large, beautiful, open center hall colonial, right? Similar to yours, okay? 2-car attached garage, that's the same too. And then there's some additional like stone face amenities and some different finishes and stuff, okay? So I would consider this property a little bit better than yours, all right? It's especially given the location in the area. You know, it's in a sectional community and so on, just like yours as well, just on a different part of the area, okay?
Okay.
Let's take a look at this property. Oh, let me point something out to you here. What is the list price that they had here?
719.
Right. And where did you want to be when you were selling the property on your own?
We were asking 750. I think 750 is the number we're shooting for.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. So let's go up to 11 Mountain View Trail. And now I'm like, there we go. So this property is sitting on 0.3 acres. How many bedrooms?
4 bedrooms,
Right. How many bathrooms?
3 bathrooms and a half. So
Okay.
just
Do you know this neighborhood where this property's at?
yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, wonderful. And have you seen this particular home?
No, I have not seen this particular home.
Okay. So it's got forced hot air, hot water, you know, multi-zone, central air, cooling. You have central air as well. You have a wood burning stove. This one doesn't. So, you know, as you can see, I believe based off of the finishes and obviously, as you can see from this flyer multi-photo, we don't have any square footage here. However, I know I've looked through these homes, your square footage is much larger than this one. So, and what's their list price?
610. Well, my house is a little bit nicer than that property.
Oh, yes, I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think your house is nicer than this property. I think it's very similar in a lot of the features and the benefits that you have. But I think like amenities like locations to schools and where you're located and given where Pond Hollow is, that's important when it comes to what people are looking for when they're moving to this area. Okay. And what price were these guys asking?
610.
710. Okay. I'm going to pull something else up for you here. I know we have all these nice pictures and everything, but I pulled up a data sheet for you. Okay. So 11 Mountain View Trail. Now it might be a little bit small. Let's see if I can zoom in here for you. It's probably better. Mountain View Trail, we listed at what?
We listed at 610.
Right, we listed at 610. And then we sold where?
640.
640, right? Okay, how many days on the market were we? That would be this column here. That's what DOM stands for. I know it's a little confusing. They don't clear that acronym up for you, but days on market here is 12, okay? So there's some statistics that I'd like you to pay attention to as we kind of go through some of these. One's going to be list price. One's going to be sale price. One's going to be this little SPLP percentage. We'll get into that in a minute, and that's sale price versus list price. And then days on market, okay? I consider those the big four, okay? We're gonna pay attention to these as we continue to go through. Now, there's one more home that I wanted to point out to you that I think is the most comparable to your home right now, right? And that's this property here at, I'm just gonna click out here, 323 Pinnacle. Oh no, I apologize. 708 Skyline. Okay, how many bedrooms?
4.
How many bathrooms?
3.
How many half bathrooms?
Ooh.
It's 1.
1.
I apologize. 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. We're on 0.2 of an acre, right? And do you know where this house is?
I'm not familiar with that area, but their lot is smaller than mine.
It is a little bit smaller, right? And I do appreciate you bringing up the lot. So in Lake Opakon particularly, lot size isn't typically average anywhere between a tenth of an acre and then like a third of an acre. Half of an acre is a lot given the square footage. And then even in certain areas, you can get all the way up to like a whole acre or more, but obviously the price steeps up. Now, these homes in particular are all similar in style, room, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, garage, and I ranged you out from anywhere between 0.1 and 0.5 acres. Now, I think this property is the most like yours. Here's why. What list price are they asking for?
729.
Right, okay. And what's the sale price? Let me zoom in here again. We'll go back to this sheet. 708. What sale price are we at?
720. I mean 729. So they sold for what they were asking for.
Yeah, so they actually sold for higher than what they asked for. They sold for 2% higher, right? So we sold for, we listed at 729. We sold for 742. We're at 2% sale price over list price, and we're on the market for 8 days. That's pretty outstanding, right? That's the most amount of money that the house was going to bear in the least amount of time. And I don't know the amount of friction because I didn't sell the property, but I'm assuming that given the market conditions, we're okay. So I think this home is very, very similar to yours. Now, given the comps that we looked at today, what price do you feel we should use in order to create some value in the eyes of the buyer?
Well, I was looking for 750. Doesn't look like any of those properties sold for 750. But some of the other agents I met with told me that they could give me 750. So I would say we can list maybe at 740 because I saw everything was selling at or above list price.
Okay. Let me ask you, B. Apologize. So now that we've seen these prices, I'm actually going to recommend that we start at 715. Okay.
Oof.
And if we wanted to get 740, we can start at 715 because our days on market has shown that if we want to do it in the least amount of time, we can do it maybe about 8 days and still get you up to where we need to be. Now, would you like to list your home with me for that price this evening?
715 is really low. One of I met with Joe from ABC Realty, and he told me we could get 750 starting at 740. So can you do 740?
And how did you come across Joe, if you don't mind me asking?
One of my coworkers referred me to him.
Wonderful. So it was a referral to you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I don't know what Joe does, and I didn't really know that you were interviewing any other agents. However, I can be certain to you that based off of the pricing strategy that we used, given current market conditions, I'm 100% confident that if we use an appropriate pricing bracket, like one that I've provided today, we can get you to that 750 number. Now, here's the reality. I don't want to start trickling into the area where we ended up in the land of rainbows and sunshines, right? My goal for you to come over here is not to simply tell you that I'm going to give you $750,000 for your home, V. I'm going to plop my sign in the front yard. I'm going to put my hands together. I'm going to pray that I get your number for you. I'm certainly not going to do that. I tell nice people like you the truth because I understand your motivation as to where you need to be. I don't want you to go through that struggle, and my objective is to collaborate with you in order to get you to the finish line. So that's why I come in and I recommend that we start at a lower price given current market conditions, because given the comp that I just provided to you, we can actually start to drive an auction style environment by pricing aggressively and getting buyers to compete with one another in order to give you a premium for your home.
I don't know. What about 730? I feel like because again, me and my husband, just before he passed, we did a lot of renovation to the property. We have the stove is new. We did some painting around the house, and I just think it's worth more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. V, what price do you absolutely have to have? Bar none, bare minimum.
As in, like, what I sell the house for, what I keep.
What you keep, right? That's most important. I mean, those two are different, but they're similar in the same sense. But what is important to you?
Well, the house is paid off. I do have a few lingering medical bills from when my husband was sick. Between 650 and 700. If I keep that in my pocket, I'm good.
Okay. So based on the information you provided to me, and I thank you for that, there's a couple of important questions I need to ask you. Specifically, why do you feel that a couple of the homes that I showed you this afternoon is worth about $25,000 more than your neighbors?
I'm not following the question. What do you mean?
So you wanted to get $750,000, right? I'm recommending a price bracket of anywhere between 715 and 725 to start. Why do you feel that your price is $35,000 roughly more than your neighbors?
Well, I think we have a better lot than a few of the properties. Our view is definitely nicer.
Mhm.
For a few, as I mentioned, we did do some work to the property. The stove is new. We have the appliances are less than 10 years old. So honestly, that's a deal.
Right. So your appliances are highly desirable, right?
Yeah.
Your lot is nice and desirable. Yes?
Yes.
Right. So all of the things that you've done in the last 10 years, V, that simply just means in today's market, you're bringing the home up to a selling standard. Yes?
Oh, well, I guess I didn't think about that. What do you mean?
We'd agree that all homes need stoves, yards, kitchens, bathrooms, right? These are all things that we need in order to live in them. Yes?
Well, yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If a buyer wants to buy your home, right? And the first thing that they do is they tear out all the stove and rip out the entire kitchen. The minute they buy it, how much is it worth then?
Well,
I'm
I
sorry?
guess I guess it won't be worth the 750.
In Italian, we call that un gazzo. It's worth a nada. It's worth a nothing. You can't operate with it, right? Because now, $50,000, $30,000 kitchen. This is fantastic. I've seen brand new remodels. People come in, right out the door. They wipe everything out. They take it all out. What was worth the $30,000 for? It's almost better to leave it raw, right? Because
Right.
someone else is going to do it and create their own vision, right? And did you add those amenities for yourself or for the next buyer?
Well, for me to enjoy, yeah.
Right. And if you were going to purchase a home, right, which you're going to do in Florida, and there's two similar homes, same features, same benefits. I've got one over here at 750, and I got one here at 715. Which one are you buying?
715.
Right. And wouldn't you want to use the extra money to do what that person did to your home and tear out that kitchen and put your own kitchen in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. And so that's why I'm recommending the price point of 715. I want to do right by you. I want to make sure that I can guarantee you that we're going to get to where you need to be. I have a pricing strategy is tried, true, and tested over the last couple of years. And I'm 100% confident that I could probably not only get you close to that 750 number, but I can get you over it to where you're paying my commission and you're not even feeling it. And you're honoring your husband, you're honoring the memories that you left behind in the home, and you're doing what you need to do, which is get your grandkids, pay off these medical bills. Let's stop. Let's start a new chapter, right? Let's work together. Let's do the right thing. Let's start a new chapter. I recommend a price of 715 based on what we know. Do you want to list at that price tonight?
So you said at 715 you were going to sell over that.
Yes. Would it be okay if I showed you something?
Sure.
If I were to show you visually how my pricing strategy and process works. Would that be something that you'd be interested in?
Sure.
Wonderful. Is it okay if I share that with you?
Go ahead.
Fantastic. Bear with me. So V, this is a pricing report that I had drawn up for you today because I figured that you would want to know exactly how does my pricing strategy and my pricing worth. This is a home that I recently moved, the 272 West Warren. We listed at a sales price of $372,500. My seller, they actually wanted to go a little bit higher. I was able to get them down from 400. Well, I'm glad we did because we had 26 offers come in. We were under contract in 6 days and we sold at $96,000 over asking. Does that clarify any sort of questions you may have regarding the pricing strategy that I utilize?
Yeah, if we can go on the contract in 6 days, that and get 90, almost 100 grand over asking.
Now, listen, obviously I have to give you my Billy Mays here disclosure, right? All results are not typical and everybody is different. However, these are the type of situations that my team, my pricing strategy, and my marketing does for properties and the level of attraction that we do. My list price to sales price. Remember that number we talked about a little bit earlier?
Mm-hmm.
In our area, specifically Lake Opakon, the average list for sale price is about 2.5%. Wherever I go in to an area, my list price to sales price is 5.5%. So I make on average my clients an extra 2.5% over. Now, for the math majors in the room, I'm not one of them. We're going to look at $750,000. Well, you wanted to be at 715. What's 2.5% of that? That's almost $35,000 to $45,000 at 5%, 2.5 in Lake Opakon, plus my 2.5 on how I operate. That's why I recommend that bracket. The higher end of the bracket we are in, the less eyes we're going to get on the property. The lower, the more. So would you like to list at 715 tonight?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sorry?
We can do it at 715. But how much do you charge?
I charge 6%. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, V. Oh, I do have one more question for you, V. Do you like black or do you like blue?
Blue.
Blue. Wonderful. If you can sign here, here, and here, I'm happy to get started for you. Thank you so much for your time today. And I'm honored. Thank you.
V, you were so nice to him. I was waiting for you to be like, nah, 6%. Like I wanted you to push back on that 6% for him and make him earn it. Like
I was thinking about it, but I'm like, I already beat him up for the price. Although I agree, but like I feel like we spent a lot of time on the price. So
no, you were really nice though. But I'd be curious to know, Matt.
Go ahead. Yeah, we can do it.
If V said no, like 6%, I'm not doing that.
Well, let's do it then.
Yeah, come
let's
on,
do that because you got the
Let's
listing.
do
She
it.
gave it to you, but I think everybody
Yep.
on here on this call is kind of curious because most sellers are going to push back, especially now with the settlement.
Yeah.
And so, like, what would you have said if V said, "I won't do it at 6, but I'll do it at 5"? V, give that to him and let's see how he responds with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 6% is high. Can you do 4.5, maybe 5%?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So V, if I'm hearing you correctly, are you concerned about how much money you net, or are you concerned about how much the commission's paid out?
Well, if I'm paying you 6%, or I'm netting less money because I have to pay
money. So other than how much money you net, there's nothing else that would stop us from working together this evening.
No.
Wonderful. Do you understand how real estate commission works in New Jersey?
I'm not familiar.
Okay, wonderful. Would it be all right if I explain that to you?
Go ahead.
Wonderful. I break it down real simply. Okay. I have $6. Okay. So when I have these $6, that's we're going to represent that as 6%. Now, when I do my listings at 6%, the reason I do that is because I want to attract good buying agents. Okay. It's going to be very important that we do that, because the average buying agent only does 2 to 3 deals a year. That's not good. We want people with experience. We need a good dance partner in this. So by offering up good commission, that hopefully, even though you shouldn't ethically be doing this, and I certainly don't, but you should need to be agents look at commission. So if I give 3%, I'm going to get good agents to come by with good buyers, pre-qualifications, proper paperwork that's documented, a level of professionalism that I expect. That's out the door. Now I got to pay the man, the broker. That's one. Then I got to pay myself. Kind of. This is what I get to keep, half a knuckle, because I have to pay the man too. And then I have 1% left, 1% left. And I use this to get that 5.5% over sale, list of sales price. This is all your marketing. This is all your advertising. If you haven't seen or followed me on my social channels, I've actually gotten in a shower in a suit and marketed to another property. We had over 75 people show up in 4 hours of open house time. We've had over 5,000 views, and I've been in touch with NJ.com. So you want to talk about exposure, that's the level that we can take it to. And that's why I charge 6%. I can certainly do 5. But we're not going to have showers and NJ.com and all of this other stuff. So if we want to maximize the potential on your home, I use it at 6. The reason I do that is because I don't want to de-weaponize myself in order to get you that premium. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yes. Well, what about 5.5? I feel like even if I'm saving the 0.5%, I feel like I'm saving, you know.
I appreciate that so much. Hey, let me ask you something. If I were to make that 0.5% up on your top end sales price, would you be willing to increase my commission?
Well, no.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's go pump the brakes now. Here's the thing. I do what I do and the way that I do it, and nobody else can do it my way. Realistically, I know that there's a lot of other real estate agents out there, but everybody's got their own song and dance. At 5.5%, if I concede 0.5% to you, I want to offer perspective if that's okay.
Sure.
If you're hiring an outstanding real estate agent to list and sell your property at a maximum to maximize your financial equity, and I cave to 0.5%, how confident would you be that I'd be able to navigate $750,000 of your equity?
Okay.
Why don't we do this, V? If you're really uncomfortable about the 0.5%, let's do this. I list the property for 2 weeks. Giving days on market, we could potentially do it in 8 days. We use my price, my marketing, my strategy. If we're no good, in 2 to 3 weeks, if you're not happy, I'll come in, you take the listing agreement, you tear it up, I'll shake your hand, we part ways as friends.
Okay.
You want to do it?
2 weeks. Yeah, I'll hold you till 2 weeks.
Bet. Very good. Sign here, here, and here. That's how I do that.
All right. All right. So thank you for going over that. I just, people have some questions in the comments, but let me just say this really quickly.
Sure.
We can't be so nice when we're doing role play. And here's why. We want to make sure that the role play is the toughest call, the toughest presentation you go through, so that when you're in front of an actual seller, it's like, okay, that's nothing compared to what V put me through. She gave me the toughest call ever. That was really tough. I had to fight for the pricing. I had to fight for the commission. V, you want to beat him up. You want him to work hard. You want him to sweat. And we sweat in practice so we don't bleed in war. So don't feel like, hey, I gave him a hard time on pricing, so I need to ease up a little bit on commission. You're doing him a disservice because you're not teaching him how to fight for it. Make him fight. Make him close you 2 or 3 times, right? And then when he's in front of an actual seller, he's going to be like, oh, I practice this all the time with V. I know what to say. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, definitely a little bit tougher, some more tough love, and it will serve him well. And it'll serve you well too, because it's going to help you when it's time for you to role play. You're going to know what to expect. B, can you tell me how you think Matt did? Any feedback from Matt?
It was good, really charismatic. I feel like the only thing is the comps. You should like have them in order.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, V, because there's I'm navigating GSMLS and figuring out some ways that I can make it more presentable. Like it's a little difficult Zoom, but like make it more presentable in person, obviously. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Matt, how do you think you did? If you had to rate yourself 0 to 10, 10 being knocked it out the park, where would you rate yourself?
I'm probably at about a 6.
What would need to happen for it to be a 10?
For me, what would need to happen to be a 10 is just more reps, David. Just more reps, being able to access more of the tools. Pushback is always helpful. So like internalizing different different lines and different scripts, and being at a comfortable point where, okay, now you're even rattling them off even better. You know what I mean? And I can focus more on like delivering tonality and exuding that confidence to be like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
I'm the right guy for you. I'm not worried about what to say because I know what to say, and so now I can relate to you on a level. I can mirror and match you a lot better.
And there are definitely some areas of improvement. I'm surprised you gave yourself a 6, and I think you need to give yourself some grace because you're in front of 63 real estate agents watching you. It's a lot of pressure, and it's not easy. So I think you got to give yourself a little grace there too. And there were a couple technical difficulties. I had to interrupt you because there were some audio issues, so that kind of messes up your flow a little bit. And I apologize about that, but I wanted to make sure people were able to hear you. I think that number, in my opinion, is a little low. And yet, if that's your number, then let's work on getting it up to a 10. I want to get you some feedback. I got Marilyn, I got Ira, and I got Lou. Anyone else that has feedback for Matt, raise your hand. And again, if you already heard the feedback given from someone else, let's not repeat the feedback. Marilyn, what's going on?
That was great. By the way, I missed the first 10 minutes, but I can't wait to watch it over on the replay.
All right.
Thanks so much.
There was something you mentioned in the beginning, though, that you said, there's a lot of friction in the market, but I don't know what that is, but there's something that you can actually do. Like usually when I run my comps, I'm calling agents and I'm actually asking them, how many people came through the house? How many offers did you guys get? Because I want to be able to let that seller know, this is what I know about the property, and this is how many people went through, and this is how many offers they actually received. So you can change that around a little bit instead of saying, I don't really know. But other than that, I think it was pretty good. I think I had one more thing. There was a time at the end when she almost accepted, and you didn't pause. You didn't give her a long enough pause for her to say, yeah, you know what, let's go ahead and move forward. And you just jumped in right to the other thing. You just kept talking. I think that you could have just closed this a lot sooner.
Yeah, that's good
Other than
feedback.
that, very good.
No, I noticed that as well. So good pickup on there. Mr. Ira, good man. What's going on, sir? What do you got for Matt?
First of all, congratulations. Great job. I wouldn't have rated you a 6. I would have given you some more, maybe 7.5 or 8. But a couple of things. I think that you could have used some more tie downs. There were times that you actually stopped talking, and rather than actually adding in a tie, like wouldn't you agree that made it a little awkward for me? And then the thing that made me a little nervous is that you said you can guarantee that we can get to that price of 750. And I don't ever like to make a guarantee because we can't, because we don't know what the market's going to do. So that made me a little nervous. Showing your pricing report, I think, was beautiful, but I like to show the pricing triangle. So I think that's a tool in your arsenal that would have really, really helped substantiate why you want to price it lower. And then you're actually showing percentages of how many more buyers you'll get when you price it below market. Sure. So that's a really good tool to use.
Thank you, Ira.
That's good. Thank you, Ira. Lou, what's going on, sir?
Hey, David. Matt, awesome job, man. Don't be too hard on yourself, because getting in front of all these people and 63 people, but that's double the amount of eyeballs and critics. So, nice job. Good for you.
Thank you.
I missed that, as Marilyn, I missed maybe the first 5 minutes, and I don't know if you got into it, but explaining what you're a part of, right? Keller Williams, what this big animal in the room is, and what you're associated with, and what that brings to you as value, and then adding on your value on top of that is kind of like a double-headed monster. And as you got into all your great stats about this is what I'm selling properties at, this is my experience, just validate what your marketing plan is on how you do that, right? This is how we're achieving those results. You know, we know that 80% of your buyers are not coming from the township. This is how we're getting in front of them. And I ran into a similar situation this week, and I leaned on David, and David gave me a tool about reverse prospecting in NJMLS. Talk about how you're driving that traffic to the home and how you're separating yourself from that other agent that she was referring to, and the things that you're doing that are more proactive as opposed to reactionary. And I think you nailed it, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Lou.
Fatima.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Matt, great job. I really love the way you did the presentation. So I love your sense of humor. I love your style that you used. You actually made the script your own style. I love the way you did that. I would slow down a little bit. I thought you spoke a little too fast, because you have to mirror and match your partner, and your partner had a slower tone. You were going a little too fast. I mean, to the point that I had a feeling you was not listening to what she's saying. At sometimes you were speaking over her.
Sure.
But other than that, I think you did a wonderful job. One more thing. I would stop asking permission, because sometimes if the seller doesn't want to hear it, like, that's it, that's the end of the presentation. Just say what you got to say and don't ask permission. I mean, in my perspective, because sometimes when you're overwhelmed with all this information, you ask, may I show you this? No, I think I had enough. So what you're going to say next? So I would keep that in mind as well. That's about it. I think you did a wonderful job, and your partner did a great job as well. So that's it.
Thank you, Fatima. Before I go over to Raj, I want to just agree with Fatima on this, because we want to be in rapport with the seller, and mirror and matching is extremely important. If you have someone who talks slower like me, or someone who talks slower like V, and you're talking really fast, I mean, they may view you as like a slick car salesman because you're talking so fast, or they just may feel like, hey, I'm not in rapport with this guy. Even though you might be saying the right things, people might be like, I'm not sure if I actually want to work with him. I don't feel the energy. And that's why mirror and matching is so important. You're talking to someone slow, you slow it down. If you're talking to someone fast, you got to speed it up and kind of match some of their mannerisms. So I thought that was really good feedback from Fatima. Thank you, Fatima. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, man, what's going on, Matt? Good job.
Thank you, man.
I wanted to say the ending when you said you could cancel this in 2 weeks, because I was like, whoa, how are you going to do that if you cancel it in 2 weeks? Because I think I don't know if I would say that in 2 weeks. Thought that was would be premature.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. I've done it. That's the only reason why I said it. So.
Well, the thing that kind of got me at the end is when you said, I kind of cringed when you said, I can certainly do 5%. I'm like, don't even introduce that into the conversation. Like, don't say that.
I did. Because I said that.
Yeah. Yep. You said, I can certainly do 5%. And she could have said, well, great. I don't care about having all this other stuff. Do it at 5%. And then you're trapped. So you didn't even realize you said it.
Yeah.
So we yeah, I'll definitely send the video out so you can watch it. But that's one thing that I was like, ooh, yeah, don't say that. All right, Matt. Oh, good. No worries. Veranda, what's up, lady?
Hey, how's it going? Matt, I thought you did a really great job. The only thing that I had was when you were talking about the comparables, you said that one house on Skyline was exactly like hers. So I'm looking at, if you're listing at 715 and that other house sold 2% over ask price, if you do the 2%, you don't get her to the 740. So I think that she would obviously be very disappointed in that. So I would assume that it's going at that same rate. So I think even if you go 4% over list price, that would get you at like 743. So if that house listed at 729 and it sold for 742, I would probably be in that same ballpark as the market continues to be, hot.
Sure.
Hey,
I do just full transparency, that property, that actual property that she's using, they listed at 645 and they're well over 7 now. So like, I understand what you're saying. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, Matt, and thank you for receiving the feedback the way openly like you are. I appreciate that. And Raj, I'm sorry I skipped you and went to Verlandine. My apologies, man. Go ahead.
No, I lowered my hand by accident.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe once in the future when they go, 6%, how'd you get that? Then when he mentions the broker, the buyer agent, maybe she could, because we're going to be facing with this, she could say, well, why don't we lower that to 1.5? Because that's going to be coming up a lot.
Got it.
So that's just something we could talk
Okay,
about.
thank
Where
you.
there,
Yeah.
Thank you. I was waiting for V to give me some NAR stuff today, so I was like, oh, here we go. We're gonna have to
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah,
because that is going to come up a lot. Like
sure.
they're
Yeah.
they're going to be like, what about 0? What about 1? Why do we have to pay
Right.
them?
We don't want to offer anything. Oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be in the future.
Yeah, we definitely have to be prepared for that. I completely agree.
Yes, sir.
Completely agree.
Thank you.
Alberto, my friend, how you doing, sir? What's up?
Good, and you? Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. Congratulations, Matt, for your presentation. I like the way you are dressed up. I suggest you to get a red tie.
Red
because
tie.
because in that way, people is gonna focus on your red tie and they're gonna be paying attention at what you're saying. And also, when you are talking with an stubborn seller, read Tactic 7 in the cheat book, because hey, you have been 3 weeks on the market, and you know what? The two first week is the window opportunity with the new listing shines in the market. If you lose that time, you are gonna be lost in no man's land. So it is important to know the Tactic 7, that's the cheat book, because in that way, it's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of talking.
Yeah, I think Alberto's right. We got to be able to talk about like the first 2 to 3 weeks we're on the market. That's when we get the most visibility. We have to be priced correctly. And the pricing triangle is definitely a great graphic to have with you at the listing presentation, where you can talk about, hey, if we're priced at market value, 60% of the buyers are going to see us. If we're under, by 10% or 15%, we'll get 75% of the buyers. Having that visual is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Mr. Kopech.
What's up, Matt? Great job, brother. Well done. Awesome jumping on. I think, more people should be open to doing this kind of stuff, because you get so much out of it, and it makes it so much easier to do it other ways. I just so I love the way you stuck with the script. You went right through it. So I thought that was great. I'm curious, when she kind of gave you some pushback on the comparables, I felt like you had a great opportunity to kind of go into the buying, what other agents do to buy listings. Was there any particular reason, that you didn't maybe go that way?
Full transparency. I was finding it difficult to collaborate with V this week to run comparables and figure out a property. She's out of South Florida. I'm up here in New Jersey. So, we were going over pre-qualifying stuff, and I called her and we email and stuff like that. So we're trying to fabricate that. I agree with you. I think that would have been, and the thought crossed my mind, and I was going through some tech too at the same time, multitasking a little bit. So yeah, I agree with you. That would have been excellent to turn around and be like, oh, hey, listen, like the 3 Ps and then the 5 Ps, right? And then dive into that. So
yeah, and maybe I think for some sellers too, like when that situation, especially because I thought you did such a great job with interacting with the comps and getting her to interact with the comps, which is huge, right? It keeps them focused on the comparables and they're not drifting off. So I thought you did a great job with that. And I think that there was a real opportunity there for you to say, hey, no, okay, great. So you agree that everything we went over, this makes sense, right? This is related to your property, right? Did the other agent show you other comparables that would lead you to believe that you can get more for the property, right? And kind of bring it down from like an opinion based or and just, this is factual stuff, right? This is like, I think that's probably just me personally where I would have taken it. Like I said, I think you did a good job interacting with the comps. Maybe just smile a little bit more. I think it kind of would have just loosened you up a little bit, and that may just be a product of Zoom and like all of us, but just, kind of smiling a little bit more, just really remembering, just sometimes I like painfully will just like stick my cheeks up in the air to get the flow going. So, but great job, man. Good for you.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Definitely better.
It's hard to smile with, I have lights and stuff blinding me and I'm trying to like just make a good presentation. Right. But I appreciate that so much.
But I just think with smiling, it softens the tone a little bit and kind of eases all of us as we're doing stuff. So, but great job, Matt. Good for you, man. Good job.
Thanks for that feedback, Pete. Marilyn, before I go to you, I just wanted to show this. And are you guys able to see the triangle? No? Hold on one second. Hold on a second. I'm sharing it. Hold on. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is something that's included, when in my push program, we have some infographics that you should be putting in your pre-listing packet and your listing presentation. This pricing triangle. So the red part is market value. And essentially what we say to a seller is if you price it at market value, 60% of the buyers are going to see your property. If we want to be really can't talk today, strategic, and we price it 10% below market value, we're going to attract 75% of the buyers. If we price it 15% below market value, we're going to attract 90% of the buyers. And so this is really a discussion around a pricing strategy that can cause that auction effect. If we want to put a lot of eyes on the property and have a lot of people showing up, we want to go below market value. And this triangle demonstrates how many more people will see the property if we price it strategically. But also on the flip side, it shows you if you price it 10% above market value, instead of getting 60% of all the active buyers, you're going to get 30. If you price it 15% above, you're only going to get 10% of the buyers like recognizing your home because it's overpriced. And so this is a triangle. It's a great conversation when you're working with sellers. It's a great marketing piece that you should be included in your pre-listing packet so that they are educating themselves on the importance of pricing the property correct out of the gate or being strategic with their pricing. And I'll throw this triangle in the Morning Mindset WhatsApp chat because I know some of you guys are asking for it and I don't mind sharing that. So I'll do that. Marilyn, you're up.
Yeah, I know he mentioned keeping it organized and using he's trying to get his system, I don't know, whatever system he was using to get the comps in order. I don't know if you guys use RPR, but RPR is a great system and that you can see everything side by side. If you wanted to open up another screen to show the pictures, you can do that, but at least it's easier to read when you're looking at the RPR report.
Yeah, RPR is fantastic. I like actually breaking it out like David does in Push when you actually have through the booklet where you have the price differentiation, that sales analysis. That's actually what I do bring with me to it when I get belly to belly with somebody.
Love that. All right, really quickly, guys, some people are asking about the Morning Mindset chat. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in here in the chat here for our call. If you guys go ahead and join the chat, I'll wait about half an hour before I add the triangle in. Because if I add it in before you join, you won't be able to see it. So I'll definitely take care of that. That's the link. Go ahead and click on that and join WhatsApp. Can you guys do me a favor really quickly? Can we clap it up for Matt? It's a lot of pressure in front of your peers, man. Good job for showing up. You got some great feedback that'll help you. And I want to definitely see you come back and do this again. And I'm looking for my next volunteer, and I'm hoping to train my next volunteer. I have Push starting up on April 9th. So if anyone on here understands with this NAR settlement that you need to be a listing focused agent and you need to master your skills around the listing presentation and around prospecting, reach out to me. I love to talk to you about Push starting up April 9th. I think you guys know me well enough to know I'm no pressure. If it makes sense for you, great. If it doesn't, I completely understand that as well. And yet this is the time you need to start making an investment in you, especially around being a listing-based agent, because I think we all understand, I don't know the future and the certainty of what's happening with the buyer commission. However, I know that as a listing agent, I negotiate my commission up front and I know what I'm getting paid. So love to talk to you guys. If you have any questions for me, definitely text me, DM me, email me, and we can set up a time to talk between now and April 9th. Now, here's my question. Who is willing to volunteer for the next live listing presentation? We'll do it in about 30 to 45 days. Who is willing to raise their hand and say, I'm ready? Did I see Verlandine raise her hand? Well, let's do that, Verlandine, because by that time you're going to be in Push starting April 9th. By that time you will be ready. And I'm putting you on the spot right here, but here's what Verlandine said to me, and I wish more people had this attitude. She said, I'm coming to Push because I need to be pushed. So push me, pull me out of my comfort zone. And it's that type of attitude when you're willing to put yourself out there where you get the most out of it, because that's what it's there for. It's there to push you and teach you the skills that you need to be successful as a listing agent. And sitting on the sidelines, you'll learn. However, you're not going to learn as much as if you jump in and just get out of your comfort zone to learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm really proud of you, and I'm going to take you up on that. I definitely will take you up on that. All right, guys. Next week, we're going to do script practice again. I thought about something that I want to do, and I want us to work on our opening. So we're still going to do our objection handling, but I want to go around the room and choose a few people. And I want to hear how you open up your call. When you're calling a FSBO, you're calling an expired, your first 15 to 20 seconds, what are you saying to actually break through and keep them on the phone? What are the pattern interrupts you're using so you don't sound like every other agent that's calling? And how are you able to keep them on the phone so that you have an opportunity to get through your script? Hint, stop. How are you doing today? Like, cut that out, because that's valuable time that you're wasting, right? So I also cut out saying my last name. Every word you say is taking time away. So, hey, it's David. I'm a local realtor. I don't say I'm with Keller Williams or Coldwell Banker or EXP, because if they had a bad experience with that company, they don't want to hear from you. So we want to work on our opening to make sure that we're creating opportunities to even go through our script. So next week, we'll spend just like 15 minutes on it, see how you guys open up the call when you're prospecting, and then we're going to get into handling objections as well. And just know that I'm open to any feedback. If you guys are on any other script practice calls and they do something that you actually like, I definitely would be willing to take some advice from you and some suggestions from you on what we can do differently with this call. I want to make sure it's bringing you value every single week, and I trust that you guys keep coming back, that you're getting value. And if you are, continue to tell people about it so we can hit that goal of hitting 100 people on the call on Friday. I appreciate you guys. We're right at 9:31. I want to be respectful of your time. And if for some reason the links and everything are working for you guys, I have some people in the chat telling me it's not working. My phone number is 201, and I'll put that in the chat, 201-993-0016. If you can't get access to a link or there's something you need, don't call me, send me a text, and I will make sure that I reply back to you and get you what you need. So I'm sorry if the links weren't working. It should be working. So if it's not working, I'll make sure you get all set up. And I appreciate you guys being here today. Matt, I know you're not here right now. He probably stepped away.
No, I was
you're taking
trying
shots
to send
in
out
the
hearts in
corner.
the chat. I appreciate everybody so much. Thank you so much. Your feedback's important.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.